Hey, you still banging the Chinese spy pang pang and stinking up apple with your farts? You little, we're coming to your house this weekend, gonna get you and them little mutant offspring of yours. We're gonna get you.
So that was a obviously threatening phone call, a voice message that was left for Representative Eric Swalwell, threatening to kill his children, referred to by that deranged individual as mutants, and tying him to a conspiracy theory that the right has all accepted uncritically, that he was routinely having sex with a Chinese spy or something. So why did he suddenly get that message? A year or two after that conspiracy theory was like widely in the news? Well, it's not that difficult to figure it out, actually. It starts with a tweet that Eric Swalwell sent out saying, "Today I gave a tour in the Capitol and was stopped by a father with his young boy. The father yelled at me, 'Hey, Swalwell,' and then told his son, 'That's Swalwell, he's trouble, he doesn't back Trump.' I kept walking and felt sad for the boy. He's being raised in a cult family." I don't know that individual family. I don't know if that's true. The movement is definitely a cult. Can't attest to whether it affects the parenting, but that wasn't a great interaction to have. Anyway, you know who responded to that tweet from Eric Swalwell? Marjorie Greene, who tweeted, "No way that happened," which she might be right, I don't know. But she goes on to say, "Because we all know good Trump supporting fathers would say, that's the Democrat who had sex with a Chinese spy." Again, referring to this conspiracy theory, which, like every other conspiracy theory that you or I could ever come up with, Marjorie Greene is going to accept readily and integrate wholly into her worldview, requiring no evidence whatsoever. You cannot come up with something crazy enough that she will not believe it. But she put that out there, and we know what her following is like. And so, what do you know? Day later, he's got messages on his thing, and he actually tweeted about that, saying, have a listen. He linked it on his Twitter, saying Marjorie loves to play the victim, but she's an inciter of violence. Her constant attacks, even after the FBI said I was never suspected of wrongdoing, led to threatening calls like this. This caller from today threatened to kill my 3 children. And to be clear, he's accurate there. According to a 2020 report in Axios, Christine Fang, who they refer to as Fang Fang, targeted up and coming politicians in the Bay Area and the US, including Swalwell. She reportedly took part in fundraising activity for Swalwell's 2014 re-election campaign and recommended an intern for his office. Federal investigators said they alerted Swalwell to their concerns back in 2015, that's 7 years ago, and he immediately cut all ties with Fang. He was not accused of any wrongdoing or of passing on any classified intelligence. While Fang did allegedly have sexual relationships with at least 2 Midwestern mayors, Swalwell was never even accused of having sex with her, let alone have it prove that it actually happened. But 7 years later, why would a complete lack of evidence stop Marjorie Greene from spreading a conspiracy theory that directly and predictably leads to threats of death against his family? Ida, what do you think?
You know, racism and bigotry is a good old American value. And as people like that woman and all of the women who are of her ilk continue to take their stands because they are racist and they're bigots. And I'll say it, even though you're not supposed to call people racist unless you have evidence. Well, anytime you have to tweet something about someone and include what their ethnic makeup is in order to, berate them, it's a little racist if you ask me. And she is continuously, people who say they're not racist, I always ask the classic question, but is racism a deal breaker for you? Because there are so many people who say they don't actively practice racism or bigotry, but they don't stop it when they see it happen. And so there's just this whole growing nation of people that do this, who are now irritated with Black and brown people always blah, 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 talking about the stuff that happens to them because they don't have to experience it. So it's just like, here we go, listening to this woman who is, I wonder how many people have been really sick or lost their lives listening to these people as a result of believing everything that they say when the pandemic happened. I feel sorry for the people who don't realize that the greatest threat to their well-being is these people. The people who you follow, the people who are so hooked up with the KKK and the white supremacist groups that are leaving threats about murdering children like they would do openly back in the day where there were no consequences. They're fighting to get back to that. And if you pay attention to the pendulum swung one way, that's what they kept saying, it's gonna swing back. It never swung that way. It was a bunch of rhetoric. How many Black people have been killed since George Floyd? When has police brutality stopped? We just saw videos of people getting murdered over and over again. What are the living conditions of Black and brown people in this country? And you're talking about Asian people who sometimes are identified as the model minority. Well, here it is where you see how model minority they are when it comes to the true racist minds. They still look down on you too. So I hope none of us are buying this Herschel Walker, Asian people, anybody who gets patted on the head by these white people who would like to see us fetching their meals. Don't buy it. This is all rooted in that racism and that foolishness and that bigotry. And you know what? I feel sorry for America. I feel sorry for the idea that this country was supposed to be, even though it is based on, I don't know, what can you expect of a country that started off in a way that they did by stealing, raping, pillaging? I mean, are we surprised that it has evolved to this? No, it's just been who it's always been. And those of us who really love this place got to work from the inside out to really change it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And that's
so
difficult.
Yeah,
you're right about so much, but also when you pointed out about the pendulum swing, man, you know what they love, the people in power? Fake pendulums.
Yes.
Like that, they're literally saying that the reason the right is targeting the trans community is because the pendulum swinging back, they went too radical. What are you talking about? Where was the acceptance? Where was they want it to move to the right. It's never moved to the left. Nothing ever has in this country. But they have to invent it. They're doing it inside of Joe Biden's presidency too. The reason that people are turning against Joe Biden is he went too left for like a year. That's what it is. Went too left. There's nothing they love more than cloaking mediocre, designed to fail centrism as the pendulum swinging back.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.